This is the ocean. Salty and wet. This is where our story begins. Before we can become good surfers, we want to have at least a basic understanding of what makes a wave work. We have to learn to read the water. We start in the beginning with the simple observation. What clues can we get just from looking at the water? Things that'll give you an idea of what's happening on a given day, because in surfing every day is different and every wave is different. This is an unfamiliar world, and today that's what we're going to be talking about. Somewhere in the world, wind pushes along the surface of the sea, creating waves. These waves can travel for large distances in deep water until finally they are thrust up and they break as their energy explodes in a symphony of sound and color that create the waves that we can surf. There are four things that will decide the shape and quality of a wave: the swell, the wind, the tides, and the shape and contours of the sea floor, known as bathymetry. Swell is first. Now you'll take whatever you can get, but the best swells are produced by a large storm a long way away. This gives the waves time to organize themselves as they travel towards you. The further they have to travel, the larger the distance will be in between waves. This is called the period or interval, and it's measured in seconds. Now we want at least 10 seconds if we can get it, and 16 seconds and above is worth breaking promises for. The wind will affect the local texture of the water. Good wind is light, blowing into the waves from the beach. This is offshore. If the wind comes from the water towards the beach, that's onshore, and the waves are going to look like this. Tides influence waves by changing the depth of water at a surf spot. As tides change, the waves will break in a different place, over different contours of the sea floor. Some surf spots will only be good on a very specific tide, while others will have good waves on all tides. Finally, it's the shape of the rock or sand underneath the water, the sea floor. This is what gives the waves their shape and is probably the most important. Now let's take a close look at this surf break. The wind is good, light offshore. The swell is about 2 meters coming from the southwest with about a 13-second period. At this particular spot you can surf on most tides. Things are looking good. This is shallow water. We can tell because the waves are taller here. They're being lifted up by the sea floor underneath. The water pushes in towards the beach where it's shallow. Then it finds deep channels nearby, it turns around and goes back out to sea. Look closely at the texture of the water here. It's rough and peaky. That's showing us two opposing flows of water. We want the swell line to run along the edge of a sandbank or reef, hitting shallow water at an angle like this. This will make the wave peel. The opposite is a wave that arrives parallel to shallow water, a closeout. We can't surf closeouts, there's nowhere to go. As the wave peels, it's feeling out the sea floor. The bathymetry will decide the shape and power of the breaking wave above. If the sea floor has a steep angle, the wave will be powerful, characterized by a tubular shape. If the slope of the sea floor is flatter, the wave will be softer, more slopey, and it will be breaking in deeper water. But waves can do both. Look at this wave as it travels through different sections of reef. As it breaks, it's quite powerful. Then it goes a bit soft. Then it hits some shallow water and gets heavy again. The shapes and curves of the waves are subtle, but tell us exactly what is happening underneath the water. And it's understanding these subtle curves and textures that's going to make you a better surfer. There's a lot to learn. 400 million years ago, our ancestors came out of the sea and onto land. And by some primordial connection, we're drawn back. But we're very awkward and we're very slow in the water. And having a better understanding of how things work is going to make you more comfortable. This means one very important thing. You're going to be able to make predictions as you're surfing. You're going to be able to catch more waves and you're going to be able to stay out of trouble.
In our next video, we're going to talk about paddling. We're going to get into the water and get out the back. And then it's into catching waves. So this is just the beginning.